When you're looking at a supply chain manager, it's really about having a leadership position, right? So there's a couple of soft talents, hard talents in there, but really building leaders, right? That's number one. Number two is thinking outside the box, right? Sometimes we just tend to kind of see the A to B transaction level, and it's really more about looking at the intricacies of the systems, on the efficiencies of productivity, thinking about how you build a very engaged and proactive and productive team. And number three, it's really about being able to connect at a people level and really have your people engaged and have that empathy with your team. I think the more you take care of your people, the more engaged you're going to be in trying to achieve that ultimate goal, right? And the ultimate goal is really create a win-win scenario for yourself and for the company and your customers and all the stakeholders. I think the leadership part, you can ingrain that in someone that just wants to make an impact in other people's lives, right? And has a servant type of mentality. It's something that's going to take time, right? It's not you hire a person, that person's going to be a leader. You got to build that. You got to grow that in that person, right? And that's also part on you as a supply chain director, right? You got to be focused on developing leaders. I think you're going to continue seeing more people that want to have a job in logistics. It's really like you said, it's a technical, but it's a creative component in there as well. Like, there's so many variables, so many solutions, so many things you can do. Talking about automation, right? Talking about artificial intelligence. How do we use artificial intelligence to predict what's going to happen, right? Versus being reactive. How are we more proactive? How do we forecast, right? A lot of the challenges I see everywhere with our customers is, how do we get forecasting right? How do we improve predictability? How do we improve being aware of what can happen? Is it seasonal? Is it driven by economic factors? Is it driven by demographic factors? And I think there's a lot of interesting things you can start seeing on consumer behavior, demand, supply. I think you're seeing a bunch of elements kind of coming together into the logistics and supply chain world, and that's creating great opportunities for people that might be more on the creative side versus on the technical analytical side, right? So I definitely think that's changing. For the most part, you see directors and hiring, senior hiring members, right, just go more for the analytical part and kind of leave the people to the side, the people skills to the side, right? And that really depends on the culture of the company. A lot of the times when we hear at Pegasus, you hear about culture, you hear about our team members, you hear about, for us, our employees are first. That's because that's our biggest, most important resource in the company. It's our people, right? So we make sure we invest in our people. Our expectation at the end is that when we do that, when we do invest in our people, that people are going to be providing the absolutely best service and going above and beyond for our customers. You feel passionate about giving back to the company because you received so much, and you want to make sure you pass that over to your customers. So as a team member, as a team leader, you're building that, but it's up to the leader to promote that, right? It's up to the company that ingrains the culture. It's up to the team leader to kind of cascade that down to every single team member at the desk level, medium, supervisor, manager level, right? A lot of the companies don't have that culture. It's more tactical, it's more technical. You have, the analytical skills, we're gonna hire you, right? And that doesn't work all the time, right? I think people are a huge component of the success we've had and the success that we've seen companies that we've aligned to, right? Companies that also value that, right? At the end, we're providing a service. So we wanna make sure that the people that provide that service are absolutely engaged with the company, and that brings in results. You have senior leaders that are now hiring more of your millennials, more of your 20s, 30s, 40s. And it's a different mentality each generation, right? And when you look at, let's say, for example, Costa Rica, traditionally Costa Rica has been a very young labor force, right? So that's a different mindset. A lot of the companies down there get it. They understand their labor force is different. It's not your old generations, right? So they come with a different mindset. They come with a mindset of, hey, I want to make an impact. I want to make the impact now. As a leader, as a director, you need to know what each generation's looking for, right? And how do you build trust with them so that they become engaged with your goal, your vision, right? And I think trust is a huge element of that. When you look at diversity and inclusion, right, that's also huge, right? It's important. You look at our labor force in Costa Rica, it's predominantly women, right? They have a whole different set of expectations. There's a whole different set of how do you treat them? How do you motivate them? How do you recognize them? And as a leader, or whether you know it or you're hiring, you need to make sure the people you're hiring are aware of that, right? So when you're looking at hiring a team, you need to be looking for people that want to create, that want to make an impact, right? That want to be a servant, that want to be a leader. You want to make sure that you're looking for people that are able to look at data, interpret data, and derive actions from that data. And also, from a people standpoint, you want to make sure that they are engaged, that they are able to develop trust with your employees, with your customers, and create that kind of connectivity with them.